Skylar Faith, what episode are we on tonight? 57!
How did we get to episode 57? That's the question we ask ourselves nightly. How did we get here? I don't know how we got here, but we're here. Here we are. It's nice to see you. Thanks for checking in with us on this beautiful Saturday. At least it is in Nashville. It's glorious today. It's gorgeous. What did you say? 82. It's a little warm. We went from winter to summer. That's what happened. No spring. We appreciate you being here. We started this as a way to reach out to community and a way, you know I say it every night, a way to say hello, to make connection, to see our friends, selfishly to check in on our friends from all over the country, all over the world now. And we have been doing that virtually every evening, and it's really brought smiles to our faces. There are lots of mornings where, you wake up and you hear the news and it's disheartening and it's scary and it's uncertain. And knowing that every night at 6 o'clock we can check in with our friends, not just the people that watch, but the people that we have on as guests, makes us feel better. We feel better. And it gives our little family a little something to do. Speaking of my little family, let me introduce you to my three-person crew. This is Andrew McGinnis, you're right, a two-person crew. My cameraman and also my husband, thank you. And over here to my right, I have the always lovely Skylar Faith McGinnis, who is my stage manager. You take notes now? Wait a minute, she takes notes. Hold on. Taking the minutes. Here's Dottie. Wow.
Oh, Dottie.
Oh, Dottie. That's so Dottie.
You're incorrigible.
Thank you so much for being my stage manager and like the boss. She's slowly becoming the boss. So here we are. It's Saturday. We had a great fun Friday episode yesterday. We like to start off by telling you what we did today. I'm also sharing this on all the pages and all the Facebook land so that lots of people can come on live tonight and say hello. Oh, who's here? Sabrina's already here. I'm going to do a contest to see who gets on first because some of you are like right at the ready, and we know we were 2 minutes late, so thank you for being right at the ready.
Can you tag me?
Can I tag you in a post?
I forgot to tag in the beginning.
I will tag you, I promise.
Wonderful.
Leanna's here, Colin's on, we have Pennsylvania watching, Los Angeles, San Diego watching, and in a little bit I'll go to my other device and I will check in on people because that's a little bit faster. There's a little bit of lag when you guys come on. Anyway, so what did we do today? We always share what we did today. Well, the weather was really nice in Nashville, and it does make a difference. It kind of sort of changes your mood a little bit, but it also makes you kind of itching to get out. So Daddy and Skylar went out and did a lot of, what did you do? Were you scootering over by that? What were you doing?
We did, the scooter.
Was the scoot?
Played a little baseball, played a little soccer.
Oh, yeah. Soccer. You told riddles. Yes,
yep.
That's an outdoor adventure.
Yep.
New ones. Okay, fun. And then we hung out around the house. We cleaned a little bit. There was a little laundry. There was a little dinner went into the crock pot. And Daddy went on a small supply run today, right? Mm-hmm. How were the stores? Were people... For mushrooms. He went foraging.
For more than just
foraging
mushrooms.
At the grocery store for mushrooms. Yeah, were people sort of doing the...
Here. It's about a 50.
That's the answer for you people. There it is. As you know,
it's about 50-50.
Right. One of the things we've learned about this time, touching base with people from all over the world, is that even though we're all going through the same crisis, we are not necessarily going through the same experience. And it's been really interesting to see how people are coping all over the world, and especially in different parts of the U.S. And so here in Nashville, you may know that things are opening this week. It started last week, and then Monday a lot of things are opening, and so we always just do a shout out to all of the people on the front lines. We say thank you so much for making it possible that my little family can be hunkered down in our home and that we feel safe and that we're not sick. We know that it's because of people like you that are out there every day doing the hard work. And so if you do have to be out, just try to be safe. We know that everyone is trying to make the best of this time, but we always kind of encourage people to do the right thing. Wasn't that 2 songs? That was Narissa's song and Daniel's song. Yeah.
Yes.
That's in the recap video. You can see it on YouTube. If you do go on my YouTube, please subscribe. It's the little red button. And if we get a whole bunch of subscribers, fun things happen. Turn it gray? Turn that red button gray. She might be right.
Absolutely true.
She's going to be in marketing. All right, we are going to get right to our guest tonight because I'm really excited about this. So if this were any other beautiful Saturday in Manhattan, you might wander down to Central Park. We talk a lot about my family being from the East Coast, and we talk a lot about my time back there and how up until my mom passed away a little bit over about now 2 years ago, I was making a trip up to Jersey, what seems like, or over to Jersey, or way over to Jersey, just about Every 2 months, if not more. And then even since she's been passed, even since my whole family has passed, we go back there all the time. We gig in New York all the time. We have friends and loved one there. So of course we were very concerned when we saw, how bad the numbers were there. And so we really have appreciated the fact that we've been able to reach out to some of our friends in New York. So I've known of our guests for many, many years. We have mutual friends, and he's a legend, honestly, in New York. And he would normally be doing an outdoor concert today in New York, but he's not doing that. So we thought we would bring Central Park to you. So we're going to bring him on, our guest this evening, for our Soulful Saturday. That's right. I'm just going to call him David because I don't really know how to pronounce his last name. I would assume it's Ippolito, maybe. But here's David, that guitar man from Central Park. Hi.
Hey.
How are you, friend? It's nice to see you looking well. We're really so happy you could be here today. It makes my heart really happy. Tell our friends out in Facebook land, tell them where exactly, I guess, you are calling in from tonight. Where are you?
I'm in the Heights. I'm in Washington Heights in Manhattan, which is just way uptown. Yep. I guess if anybody knows Manhattan, I'm up by the George Washington Bridge.
Awesome.
But on the island of Manhattan.
Yeah, and hunkered down, we see. So for my friends that may be being introduced to you for the first time, tell them, we always like to start with, what did your world look like? What did David's world look like before the world sort of shut down? What was the day in the life, and what were you doing before all of this, going back like 3 months?
Well, I'm actually, for anybody that doesn't know me, I'm the luckiest man. I feel like the luckiest man alive. I've made a living for the past 28 years as a singer-songwriter. I write songs. I play them for people. I haven't had a pay stub job in 28 years. I'm making the transition now to a career as a playwright because, honestly, Randy, it's time for me to get off the stage and sit in the dark. But my day, this time of year, like you just said, on a Saturday afternoon, I would have loaded up my gear, gone to Central Park. There's nothing official about it. It's just me. And I would set up by the lake, and there'd be maybe between 5 and 10 people waiting. And about noon, 12:30, I would start playing music. And without fail, in about an hour, there's between 200, 300, 400 people sitting on this little grassy hill.
Yes.
And, it's one of the reasons I say I'm the luckiest man alive is because it almost happened by accident 29 years ago.
Tell us.
Well, all right. Well, I have no problems telling you guys. 29 years ago, I think I can say with certainty, I was a failure as a human being in every way you could possibly be. Homeless, a drunk, trying to do my body weight in cocaine.
Wow.
It was the sex, drugs, and rock and roll years down in the village.
Right.
And that all changed in 1991. And then in the spring of that, I would say the lights in the building were almost out. I was connected to this world by a social security number that I could not remember. And that all changed. And in the spring of 92, and believe me, I wanted nothing to do with music,
right,
theater, writing, anything
right,
at that point in my life. But, when the lights in the building started coming back on again, I thought one day, you know what? I was living in one room in Hell's Kitchen with no furniture, but I still had a microphone that was duct taped to a stand. And I thought, you know what? Let me I'll spend 1/3 of my empire, which was about $300, on a little speaker, and I'll go to Central Park and I'll just make some lunch money.
Wow.
And so I went out to Central Park and I set this little thing up, and there were about 3 or 4 people sitting on this little grassy hill, and I picked a spot that was out of the way because I really felt like a loser. I asked each of these people if it would be okay if I played a few songs. And I wasn't writing back then because I had nothing of any importance to say to the world. But I played a James Taylor song, And these 4 or 5 people went, I said, please don't do that. It's just us. And what do you guys want to hear? And they said something, and I played it, and they went like this. And I said, please don't do that. It's just us. And I didn't know at the time that it's just us would be 3 of the most important words I would ever say. Because as that day went on, in about an hour, every song was right. Every word out of my mouth made sense or was funny. And in about an hour, there were probably 300 or 400 people sitting on that hill. Mm-hmm. And after every single song, they would applaud, and I would say, please, it's just us. And then I thought, so I'd have less of a chance of getting arrested, I'd asked everybody to sing with me. And so next thing you know, everybody's singing. I figured that could arrest all of us. Mm-hmm. That day, at the end of the day, and also I could swear this on my mother's memory, I had an open guitar case about 20 feet away from me, and I didn't say a word about it. To this day, I've never said a word about that guitar case. At the end of the day, it was filled with money. Uh-huh. And like my rent was in that guitar case. Uh-huh. And this guy comes up to me, a lot of people came up to me as I finished, 4 hours later, 5 hours later, and said, what's your name? And I was kind of digging the anonymity. But he said, what's your name? And I said, David. And he said, David what? And I said, Ippolito. And he went, Ippolito? Like he rattled it off like a machine gun. That's the only reason I really remembered him. It turns out he was a man named Jack Rosenthal, who was a senior editor at the New York Times. And so I didn't know it then. Jack and I became friends years later, but the next day I get a phone call from an actor friend of mine, and he says, David, did you get the New York Times today? And I was like, yeah, I'm living in one room in Hell's Kitchen. I got the Times. He said, no, get the paper and call me back. And I did. And Jack had written this article about this spontaneous concert. And from that day on, my life is like a damn movie.
And as you're saying it, and my husband and I, who are both artists, and we're getting all the feels, from the story, because we can kind of feel it happening. I've obviously seen pictures of the crowds. Isn't it funny how that story, though, resonates so well right now, in this time, that by you just kind of going with what was inside of you, and who even knows what it was that was the impetus, to get you there at the time, or what momentum you had behind you, right? But like, something inspired you to do that, and you gave something real, and you got back something very real. And it's something that I think is really happening in this very odd time that we're in. It's a beautiful story. And how many years? Because I've seen you, I know I've seen you once live, and of course I've seen the pictures and I've seen the videos. Is it 20-some years you've been doing this now?
Let me show you. You can see this.
Yeah.
This is typical of what happens. Now, every single Saturday that I go out there, I'm convinced that that it's not going to happen again. It's like, it's just me, and it's just a guitar, but it's become this thing. This would be the 29th year, but at the same time, like May 2nd would have been opening day for 2020, and it didn't happen because of the situation we're in.
Yes.
But something, Randy, honest to God, I'm about the least religious man you will ever meet, but I probably live in more gratitude than most people you'll ever meet, because I've had 28 opening days in Central Park of what you just saw. It's incredible. So I'm a very lucky man.
Yes, you are. I love that you shared that story. So now it leads me perfectly into my next part of this interview, which is, what do you do now when we're not able to gather in those kinds of groups on the lawn as much as we miss them, and we know they will somehow, someday come back? Right now, it looks very different, right? Especially for our friends in New York. So what are you doing during this time to sort of keep momentum of what you put out there, but in a whole new world? Tell us what you're doing now.
Well, what's wild is that for the past 5 years, or at least 5 years, I've been saying out loud that I've been making the transition from a career as a singer-songwriter to a career as a playwright.
Right.
And I just didn't think it was all going to happen in one summer. So I've been focusing more on getting this, especially one script that I've written out there. But in the meantime, 3 years ago, I'm kind of like a pioneer. By accident, I'm an accidental pioneer because I started doing something called Concert Window on the off days that I wasn't in Central Park.
Right.
And so when I'm out in Central Park, there would, like I said, 300 or 400 people at a time, but it's a living, breathing thing, people coming and going. And of course, it's New York City. Mm-hmm. So there are people from all across the country, all around the world. Right. So if you do the math, there's hundreds of thousands of people that I've reached. So right. I started doing these live things. And then when this happened, I just moved it over to something called Crowdcast and Patreon. Yes. And so I'm doing them now Saturday, Sunday. I just finished one this afternoon.
I know you did.
Jumped over. In fact, right now, you should be seeing on your... I invited everybody from the gig. In fact, remember I told you those 3 words, it's just us?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see this.
I can see it. It's right there. Yeah, it's awesome.
And the show is called It's Just Us.
Well, now it is. Yeah, no kidding.
And now I hope everybody's jumping over here. But I do it on Saturday at 4 New York time, Sunday at 4 New York time.
Cool.
And then on Wednesday, because people told me they didn't want to wait till the next weekend.
Cool.
So we'll do Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday at 4 o'clock. People can, if they feel like joining us tomorrow even, they can go to my website and there'll always be a link there. Awesome. It's called thatguitarman.com.
I love it. I love it. And I've watched, I've been checking in on you virtually. You have a lot of people that hop in on it. It's another great way to have community. It's another way for them to experience you. It's really, really awesome. Okay, so one more question before I ask you to play that guitar right there. So you've been doing this and you found a new way virtually. I noticed early on also that you collected a bunch of your, I guess it was friends and fans, and you did some kind of right in the beginning, did some sort of a virtual thing, didn't you? Do some kind of a...
I've been doing them almost every week now, and it's remarkable. The very first one,
was it a video? Was it a video you did? Did you put together a video or?
Yeah, it was. I did a parody of an old Bob Dylan tune called "Rainy Day Woman."
Right.
Instead of "Everybody Must Get Stoned," I just did "Everybody Must Stay Home."
Right.
And so I did it live, but then my niece had her 3-year-old and 5-year-old sing the hook, and she sent me a video, and it made me laugh. So I just said, "Who wants to sing the hook? Just send it to me, and I'll put together a live video." Well, next thing you know, Peter Yarrow from Peter, Paul, and Mary, Jeff Daniels, To Kill a Mockingbird, John Cryer, Christine Lavin, they all started sending.
Yeah, I saw.
Right? And so that gave me the impetus to just keep going. So now every week we did a dance video. We made a video out of Brave. We did Put a Little Love in Your Heart, and people are sending me from Germany, Switzerland.
So cool. I love it. I know that popped up, and I didn't see it start. I didn't see the origins of it, but when I saw the video and I saw all the people that jumped on, I saw it's not just a way to build community, but in all honesty, for a lot of people, it is a distraction. It's a release, and I think these things right now are super necessary. So anything, and I know on your end too, it's fun, obviously, and you love it. You do it because of your heart, but it also takes some time to make it all happen. So I wanted to share that. We'll definitely post the link to that below because I want you to see it. I thought it was really clever, and it made me feel good, and I recognized a bunch of people that I knew in it, so I thought that was great.
I think Sean Friedman already did.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Somebody already shared it. So you've got people that are on it. Nice job, Sean. Love it. Okay. Well, now will you play something for us? I know you're sitting there. You just got off your concert with your fans and friends, and I appreciate you hopping on over to ours. Would you play a little something so that my friends can see a little of you live, pretending they were in Central Park right now?
Well, it's wild. My writing is all over the place. I don't know. People try to, I'm not country, I'm not folk, I'm not rock and roll. I think if you took James Taylor and the Beatles and Stephen Schwartz from Broadway and you smushed them all together, you might get what I do. I mean, but I'll write songs like Tom Cruise Scares Me, or, you know, funny things that are about, you know, what are going on in the world. But I wrote a song recently, in fact, just at 4 o'clock during It's Just Us, I asked the audience, I said, guys, I'm jumping over to Randi Driscoll's gig. What song should I play? And most of them said, play the newest one.
Awesome. So we get a new one. I love it.
It's a song that just, again, the least religious man you'll ever meet. But let me just play the song. I think you'll get it.
Okay.
Some people say the way I live is backwards. They don't know how a full-grown man can live this way. But if people say the way I live is backwards, then I'm aware that I don't care what people say. Some scratch their heads at my determination to live each day the way I truly feel, paying close attention to my own imagination, while imagining the best becoming real. Well, here I am. This is me, trying to live without regret, so you can bet that what you get is what you see. 'Cause what we hold as true isn't always what it seems. I hope you love your life. Mine gets made in my dreams. Some people say I live my life like some damn hippie, and that day and age is gone and out of sight. But if a world of peace and love is what those kids were dreaming of, in many ways, those damn hippies had it right. It's not up to me to say that there's a right or wrong way. We're all free to live whatever life we choose. But you'd be mistaken to believe that I am weak or I'm naive. Life is too damn short and there's no time to lose. So here I am, just standing in the light. Einstein said imagination is the strongest thing on earth, and he was right. 'Cause what we hold as true is almost never what it seems. I hope you love your life. Mine gets made in my dreams. I truly hope you love your life. Mine was made in my dreams.
Yeah, so of course I love that.
Wow.
My friends that are on that know me know that kind of song is right up my alley. So I love it. I love it. Thanks for sharing that new one with us today. I appreciate it. Your friends are on, a bunch of your friends are on giving love and putting links to your concert. So thank you.
Oh, isn't that cool?
No, it is cool. Yeah, they're doing it for you. You don't have to do anything.
I'm the luckiest man alive.
Yeah, you said it. Beautiful song. I like to wrap up my little interview portion with the same 3 questions. So basically, what I've done during this time is I ask everyone the same 3, like James Lipton. and try to just get everyone's perspective, because it's interesting to me. You know, everyone is going through something differently. So you can take these as lighthearted as you want, or as serious as you feel, okay? And they're easy questions. They're just what you're feeling. So the first question is, what has been the hardest part of this time for you? What do you think has been the hardest part for you?
Not seeing my friends. You know, it's funny. You know, as an artist, as a writer especially, and you would get this well. You have a beautiful family, but I've never written a song, or I've never written a play with somebody else in the room. So you would see the pictures of Central Park, and I'm you know, in front of thousands of people on a weekend. But that means 95% of the time I'm in a very solitary pursuit, you know.
Right.
And so the times that I just get to go to the diner with a friend, right, or just to, you know, after the gigs, a bunch of those beautiful people who are probably in your chat room right now, we all go to a diner, and I just miss the company right now.
I feel you. I feel you. Yes, I second what you've said. Being an artist means a lot of alone time, a lot of downtime, but then we come together and we have, you know, our people. So, all right, well then, if we could flip it, what would you say for you has been maybe like a silver lining of this time? A silver lining to come from this?
I would say, you know, it's kind of like, well, I'll just wait until, can you hear the siren?
Yeah, we hear them.
You got a frontline person going down Washington Avenue. I think the most wonderful thing for me personally, and it changes every day, but I would have to say overall, is that it's been affirming what I already know in my heart. And it's that good people will find new ways to be good, and decent people will find new ways to be decent. And shitty people will find new ways to be shitty. It's kind of selfish people will find new ways to be selfish. And it makes me, and so I know this, and so it makes me really so grateful for the people in my life. I've also learned that gratitude does not need a receptacle.
Yeah.
I can just feel it.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. Well, then the last one will be easy for you. What, last question is, and again, same thing, when we started this, we didn't know how many of these we were going to do. We thought it might last for like 2 weeks, you know, and it's gone a little bit more than that. So at this time, where we are right now in May, what have you learned? What have you learned that you know you'll take with you from this time? What have you learned?
I think just exactly what I said.
Yep.
Is that we all, I shouldn't say we all, because I only have my own experience, but that we create our own reality, our own value system, our own, what I say is good or what I say is bad is completely up to me.
Good.
But I get to choose, and so one thing that's frightening me, not frightening me, because I have so little fear in my life, but one thing that I'm concerned about is that human nature being what it is that a lot of selfish people are going to mess this up for the rest of us, and that if they aren't respectful and considerate of what we're really going through, then there goes Christmas. You know what I mean? And so, but again, like everybody else, Randy, I'm so making this up as I go along, but that's the way I live my life anyway. So.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%, and I know a lot of people that are watching right now, because I know some of the people that are on, I see them clicking on, and they're feeling what you're feeling. It's the great unknown. We're all just silently, you know, clenching our fists and hoping that everyone just does the right thing and that we come out of this okay. But I agree with you. We're all on a journey, right? And I don't pretend to understand what another person's journey is or what leads them to what they do. All we can do is sort of, like you just said, have our experience and make it the best experience that we can. And I think that's a great perspective to leave people with. And I know you're trying because you're out there every day or, you know, doing what you're doing. You're writing, you're creating, you're finding a place for people to have community. One of your fans wrote that we should definitely join you on your concerts because we'll definitely have a good time. And so you're obviously reaching people. You can't stop. We just can't stop. And I'm excited to see the plays that come out of this for you. I'm excited to see what else you create from this time.
Oh, you know what? Let me just, before I get out of here, Monday night.
Okay.
This is really exciting.
Yeah, tell me.
We've got my newest script, actually. It's called The Green Room, and
Cool.
the cast is a guy named Steve Vinovich, who you've seen in 100 movies and
Cool.
1,000 TV shows. Ian Lithgow, who is John Lithgow's son,
Cool.
is doing this thing. Howie Michael Smith, who is on Broadway in Avenue Q. Cadden Jones, who has done every commercial since they started making commercials. She's young, she's beautiful, she's and Todd Lawson. This cast
Wow.
is so amazing, and we're doing it live, and the cast is spread across the country. We did a quick run of it a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
And Randy, it's an amazing experience. So if you can, Monday night, join us at 7:00 New York time.
Awesome. That sounds great.
And once again, Sean Friedman is on it. He just posted that for you.
John Friedman is in the lifeguard chair.
Yes, he is.
You did a really good job there. Thank you. All right. Well, I love that. I love that art is just finding a way, right? Artists and art is finding a way. You're getting a little...
I'll send you some original stuff, and you can sing my stuff because I'm not a singer. I'll send you the stuff.
I would love it. I've got time. Please do. Please do. Okay. Thank you, David. Thanks for being here. You stay safe.
Come on, Skylar. Nice job.
Thank you. That's my friend David. He is David Ippolito. I said it pretty close to correct. He is also known as that guitar man in Central Park. Kind of crazy how long he's been doing that. I thought, I remember from years seeing him. Years ago, I saw him and I thought, oh, he must have, I think he's been doing it. That had to be 10, 12 years ago. Wow, that's quite a summer gig that you're going to be doing. And it's unfortunate that he's not able to do that right now, but I do like his perspective with what he said, that arts just find a way to kind of make your own reality. We know that's not always possible for everyone, especially if you're in a situation where the reality is I don't know, maybe darker around you, but perspective is certainly something. So that was super cool. Was that fun? We have to go to Central Park and see him play. Who else is on? I can't pull my other thing up. So I see Karen on. I see Jean is on.
You're getting a 1,000 thank yous from all of his fans for doing what you're doing.
People.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know.
Thank you all.
I definitely want to post that cool video because I saw that. I saw him put a blurb out that he was doing this, and it's really neat. And it's fun to see everyone sort of singing. We've done stuff like that where we've asked people to send in photographs of themselves, like on the Love is Love video. That was such a fun experience. It's a great way to bring people together. So just a short one tonight. I usually sing something original, or I pull out like an old cover that I used to do from, my time singing in piano bars or singing at wine clubs or, oh my gosh, country clubs. Oh, that country club gig. I sang at a country club once. I sang at a country club 9,000 times. Let me make that straight. But musicians, we play for tips. Back in the day, I would play for all these different country clubs in California. And one time I walked into a new one, and they were really nice people, very sweet to me. They hired me to do piano music and to sing covers and do standards and things like that. And they said, oh, we didn't exactly know where you wanted to set up, so we thought we'd put you here. And I'm not joking you, it was a beautiful piano behind a wall. Right, no, the wall didn't move. It was just a beautiful piano behind a wall. And so all of the patrons dining were on that side of the wall, and I was here. So I was like, well, is there like a monitor? Am I on a camera? Do they see me? They were like, no, but they say you sound wonderful. And I was like, okay, okay, yeah. Anyway, I did this song that night. I always loved it. It was like a really good way to just practice, right? They say the neon lights are bright on Broadway. They say there's always magic in the air. But when you're walking down the street, night. What a fun Saturday afternoon. I kind of wish we were basking. I know, it was a fun, soulful Saturday, right?
I thought you were going to say.
Are you yawning? You're you're exhausted. It's been a long 57 episodes for this little girl. You've done great, girl.
Every
Give me a
night.
high five. You've done great. Super proud of you. Really just leaving Mama hanging?
I know. High five.
Just leaving me
Come on.
hanging any day now. Thank you. Wow, that was just like a no thank
Wow.
you. Come here, let's say goodnight. I want to thank my guest, David Ippolito, that guitar man from Central Park. Thanks to all of my friends, new friends that we made tonight. Take care of one another, love on one another virtually if you're able to, and remember that got it?
That your vibe attracts your tribe, and we love our tribe.
And we love our tribe.
Watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
She's
And we
nailing
love
it.
Our tribe. Love you very much. Stay safe. We have a great show for you tomorrow. It's the Kids Show.
Bye.
It's the Kids Show tomorrow. Wow. Okay,
All right.
good night.